Hello and welcome to Meanwhile in the Falklands. It's just me and Ollie here, isn't it?
Yeah, we haven't done this
Ollie's
in a
having
while.
a party. I want to hibernate. That's how it goes.
Bit of a difference. How come you want to hibernate? What have you got?
Have you seen the weather outside?
It's like Yorkshire summer out there. It's beautiful. I love it.
It has been absolutely chucking it with snow and drifting, and it's all across the harbour. So as you drive along Ross Road, you've got this. The wind has obviously come. You've got these drifts, and then the water, and then it's just ice, and it's just it's just an accident waiting to happen, basically.
Well, you see like people on the sledges, people building snowmen. Driving around. I think the police have a snowman or a snowwoman in front of the police station. So. Massive one. So it's pretty good. So I love it. It's quite good. It's quite a different. Because I was warned about the Falkland snow, and I was like, no, it's got nothing on it. But it's actually pretty. You can't really see, can you? 2 meters ahead.
Yeah, it was very, very cold yesterday. Very cold, and it was the wind. It wasn't just big chunks of snow coming down. It was the wind as well that was just blowing it everywhere. But yeah, I've got to go to the dentist in a little while, and I'm more concerned with getting down the hill, not sliding into the harbour. I think that's my key thing to do today. But anyway, we've had a good week, haven't we? We're surviving without you, Hannah. Hannah, you're having a lovely time there in the UK, but we do miss you. But we've been coping all right, haven't we?
Yeah, things have been ticking on smoothly, I think. We've been doing okay with a few pieces.
Yeah, so we even managed time for both of us to go to the Legislative Assembly on Thursday morning. Historic Legislative Assembly.
Well, because it was my first one, obviously. But
yeah,
no.
It's historic. Because MLA Pollard and MLA Bartman appeared via video link. It worked all right. There was a little bit of echo at one stage, wasn't there?
Yeah, I think it worked. It worked quite nice, and maybe it might be something for the future that people start to use. To talk to people overseas as a way of communicating, rather than spending a lot of money bringing people into the islands and things like that. So it could be a possibility in the future.
I've noticed since you've joined us. I know that COVID happened as well, but we've been doing a lot more of these Zoom recordings where we interview people, and actually it doesn't matter where you are now. We can get to you.
We can always talk to you.
We can always talk to you.
We can phone.
We'll have to just have a little bit of look about the sound quality on some of them, and yes, I know what you're going to say to me, viewer, about Mark Pollard's interview last week. It was a little bit tinny, but that we'll get there. It'll work in the end. Coming up on this week, we've literally just changed the board, haven't we? The whiteboard. We've got a massive whiteboard in both of the offices in FITV Towers here, it's looking pretty full. Yeah, are we going to cope with all of that, do you think?
I think so. We got quite a lot of out of work activities, and obviously a lot of. So obviously, I play short mat balls, and you've got Pilates.
Pilates, yeah.
I don't know what that is.
It's a bit like yoga. Yeah, it's a bit like yoga, but it's very, very popular. And because at the moment they're restricted to how many people they can have, so they were doing it at the school, in the school hall, and they've moved it to the leisure centre, and it's in one of the old squash courts. So she's limited places. So basically, on a Sunday afternoon, she releases the time and the date that she's going to do it. So she does 2 sessions on a Wednesday, and basically it's the first people to say yes please get the positions. And last week we missed out, but this week I've managed to get us in.
So is it quite a busy thing then?
Pilates? Yeah, it is. Yeah, we've got to make sure that COVID update doesn't overrun, because I've got to go at 6 o'clock.
You're going to have to stop it there and be like, excuse me, I've got to go.
Sorry, Leonie, you're going to have to just stop right there. I haven't really heard of any news regarding COVID. Have you around here?
Not really. I mean, obviously they would have called us up straight away, the other local media, if there was positive cases. So we're not expecting much.
I think people who've come into the islands are on. Well, I've heard some people have been a bit silly, but on the whole, people are respecting the 14-day quarantine and things like that. So that's all going according to plan. The big thing is the weather. There was a flight north that should have left on Friday with a lot of the students on it, and it still has yet to take off.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah, it's supposed to be. Apparently, the bus was on its way to MPA on Saturday, and got the call to say they'd cancelled the flight. So I was thinking, how do you turn round a 54-seater bus on the MPA road? You'd have to just keep going, wouldn't you? And then turn around at MPA and come back again.
Is it still quite? I mean, for people that are not aware, MPA Road's infamously quite. I don't know. It's
notorious.
It's notorious for being bad. Not for bad because of the surface, but the weather's quite bad and it's really windy there. And there's been a few.
Not all of it is tarmacked. A lot of it is gravel. It's a 40-mile-an-hour speed limit, but very often you can't do 40 miles an hour on it, and you shouldn't really aim to do 40 miles an hour on it because it is so bad in places. And there's just these massive. I'm signalling with my arm, listener. Massive ditches either side, so if you did come off, you'd be just going to this 6-foot ditch that's full of water.
And there's quite a few potholes as well, isn't there, that you have to avoid. You have to kind of.
There have been times
yourself.
when I've gone to pick up somebody from the airport and I've been doing 5-10 miles an hour on that road because of the potholes. They're just dreadful. But anyway, tune in on Friday, listener, to Falklands in Focus, because we should have an update. In the Exco last week, they approved plans to sort of boost the tarmacking of the MPA road. There are some that say that if the MPA road was tarmacked, you'd have people doing more than 40 miles an hour. So although it's a lovely surface to drive on, people are going to speed, you're going to come off the road. If it's icy, you've got to grit it all and all that. So, well, I think it's half dozen of one and six of the other, really.
Yeah,
that.
Absolutely. But at least they're starting to have a look at it, and at least rather than just dominating the COVID-19 headlines, at least they're starting to now look elsewhere in where they could, I
mean, what did you think when you landed and you were brought along that road? What did you think about it?
Could I do an honest answer or
an honest answer? As long as there's no swearing.
No. It was. It looked a bit. I don't know, because it was all gravelly, and obviously when you first arrive, you're like, oh my god, this is amazing. But then, I don't know. It didn't look like. It just looked like a track for when I first saw it, and it didn't really look too appealing. But obviously,
when we landed, which 10 years ago now, we landed and it was dark because at that time you landed at like 9 o'clock at night, and we drove along it, and I remember thinking, why is he taking us the back way to Stanley? Why isn't he going on the main road?
I did think you were taking me on like a scenic route to have a look at the scenes. I thought there might have been like a main road.
No, this is the main road. This is the main road. Yeah.
No, I did thought like just have a look at like all the beautiful landscapes and all that, but
it is nice, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, it's not.
So Ollie and I are on the sofa reading the news this week. It was a bit of a disaster, isn't it? From start to finish, wasn't it?
It was character building, I think. It was always look at a positive. Yeah. We had quite a few interruptions and quite a few things
for those who are unaware, we haven't got like purpose-built studio or anything like that. We're in an office which we have put lights in and put things on the wall as best we can to stop it being echoey. And we obviously share our premises with other offices, and at the very end of the corridor they were having work done in their office, which just happened to coincide with us trying to very quickly get the news recorded. So there were doors slamming and
the people
walls
chatting,
being knocked down and people chatting outside, and do you know what you can hear? I was listening when I was editing it. You can hear the blinking clock ticking.
Oh wow!
I'm going to have to get rid of that clock.
Well, let's see if any listeners who watch the show.
You can hear it ticking.
Ah. Let's see if there's any listeners who watching the show could spot that. See if they can hear that.
Spot the clock ticking.
Supersonic. But also, it was quite good. We got a few bloopers at the end, which was pretty funny. I've realised that improvisation hasn't been a strong point of mine.
No, it's not, is it?
Something to work on, which is alright.
But anyway, Friday you went out on an adventure, didn't you?
I did. I went to Bodie Creek Bridge, which is an old suspension bridge. Looks absolutely beautiful, but it's in disrepair now, as they say, and they've just left it to...
It's too far gone,
to disintegrate. And it's a bridge that we used to bridge two islands together from... It was FIC that did it at one point. And it was closed in 1997, so near about where I was born. And then it's just been left to disrepair. And I put a picture up on Facebook, and a lot of people have commented on their pictures 10 years ago, 5 years ago, and the change from the picture that I took last week to where it is, and I'll put it up on the podcast, on the YouTube version. The change where it is from, I don't know, 2 years ago to where it is now, it's pretty sad, to be fair.
We've got some footage of it about 10 years ago as well, so it's worth having a look at that. I remember I sent Mark to go and film it, and I think he got all the way there and found realised he hadn't put a SD card in the camera, so he had to borrow one from his dad who'd gone with him. But yes, it's a shame, but it's phenomenal bit of engineering, that really.
Well, and another thing as well is because there's a lot of new teachers coming into the islands, so that was their first time of going out in to see the Falklands and see some. We went to New Haven as well, which is where the ferry is. There's some penguins there as well, so obviously that's the traditional thing when you first arrive in the Falklands. You got to see some penguins. Which was quite good actually. I remember we went to Goose Green, had our lunch in the school there, which was good, and a really, really nice little trip really to get out of Stanley a bit, to see a bit more to the Falklands.
Just before all the snow started, really, wasn't it?
Well, yeah, lucky, which is good.
So while Ollie was doing that, I was down on FiPass, which is the dock, because the supply ship, the Scout, was in. So I was doing some filming of her. I nearly lost my fingers.
Oh, because it was too cold.
So cold out there. God, I really didn't think my fingers would recover, but it's beautiful watching, all that happening. It's like a very well choreographed dance, really, the way that everything goes according to plan. In between the snow showers, of course, and then I popped in to see the Seafarers Mission, say hello to, well, my favourite dog, really. I only go to see the Seafarers Mission. It's not because of Morris and Debbie, it's because of Marlon the dog. Went to see them. Anyway, regular listeners, regular viewers to FITV will note that we're doing an awful lot more sport than we used to, and that is thanks to Ollie as well. So that's just for you, Stephen. Stephen's one of our regular listeners to the podcast who, when he first joined, said, are you going to do some more on sport? And that's what we have been doing, and thanks to you. And there is a very exciting animation coming up, is there not?
Yes, our animator Tom has worked really, really hard to get this animation together for the Stanley Services Indoor Football League, which is, I'm super excited when I first saw it, and is, like I said, we got the trophy. Tom modelled we'll have to show you I'm sure we can put it on the podcast, but we got the trophy, we put it next to his desk, and he modelled it pretty much exactly how it is, and it's spinning around, and it looks, I think Steve Foams looked at it, and instant reaction was Premier League.
But it's not obviously
it's not direct, but he was obviously thinking it's Premier League, Premier League standard.
It's a good animation, that is. Yeah, very good animation from our Tom. And what have we got this week? You've got some short mat bowls. Are you doing some kind of qualifying match or something?
Yes, so the team in sports around the islands, actually, the teams are starting to be formulated, ready
for the island games
next year. And short mat bowls, it's the first ever time they'll be sending a team over to Guernsey or into the island games for to compete, which will be quite interesting. For now, they're doing qualifiers to see who makes the team. So it's 4 ladies and 4 men that make the team. There's a bit more men that have applied to be part of the team. So the way to differentiate it is to have playoffs. Meaning, I'm in them playoffs, so I'm doing all right, I think. So hopefully, fingers crossed. But if not, then obviously the best person's won and gets to go to the island game.
I went along on was it Thursday night you were playing?
Yes, Thursday. Yeah, you see that.
Yeah, I went along on Thursday night and had a go. And the first time I did it, which was the previous week, I didn't think I was too bad. It was all right. But my goodness, I had completely lost it. And I was playing with size 4 instead of size 2, which I had been playing with. Okay. So I think it threw me, and it was something to do with one of the mats.
So unfortunately, there is one mat that curls insanely bad.
Yeah.
And I think you and Steve are on that mat.
We were.
So it is bad, notoriously bad, that mat. So I'd blame it on the mat that week.
I mean, it's not bad. It's a piece of carpet, really, isn't it? It's from the carpet place down here. So, So they should be raising some funds, I would imagine, to get a new proper green mat out of that.
Well, there is ideas going ahead, and there is talk going ahead as well about new facilities and things like that to get it up. But at the moment, it's basically 4 short mats to put together via tape to make an indoor, because the Island Games is indoor bowls.
Yeah.
So to put it's attached by tape in the school street.
Yeah.
So yeah, there is some. Hopefully, there should be investment.
Are you picturing this, listener? So in the senior school, there's a corridor where about 20 people congregate
20,
to play short mat bowls, and they've managed to split the corridor into 4 sections.
Yeah.
So you can have 4 games going on at once, and then towards the end of the session, they do it as just one long big mat bowls. That should be a thing. That should so be a thing.
Yeah,
big mat bowls.
Because it's a bit longer in the Island Games, you see, so we need to get a bit of experience. But given that, because all the mats are different, they all curl at different angles, and it's quite difficult to do it. But it's a lot of fun, and it's nice to just do stuff outside of work as well, to get yourself, a bit, help
You've got a lot of
yourself out
football coming up as well this week as well. Looks like Football City, Wednesday, Friday and Saturday.
Yeah,
Is that all indoor league?
Yeah, so the Stanley Services Indoor Football League has been happening these past 13 weeks. So now, because we've got the animation, I've got to up my game up and do the filming and get the highlights properly done. So I'm going to all the games and filming a few short highlights for that. So that package is going out this Friday as well, or Thursday, which should be good.
Excellent stuff. We've got a COVID update on Wednesday. I've said that already, haven't I? And then next week is the question and answer session, so we will put some questions to the Chief Executive and the Chief Medical Officer next week. Very excitingly, there's a flea market back on Sunday.
Yay!
First Sunday in the month, there's usually a flea market at the town hall, and that's back on track. So very excited about that. Get some bargains. Get some bargains down.
Nice and colour. Yeah. And also the day before that is.
It's my birthday.
Way.
You can send me birthday greetings if you like, regular listeners. I will be very much appreciating of that. Yes, it's going to be all right. Next week, not looking so great, actually. Next week might just be us. It might just be sport, actually. Come to think of it.
Well, like I said the other week, it's like at the moment it looks in the newsroom, it looks as if there's nothing, and then when it gets closer to some days it's usually everything just comes in at once.
We have in years gone by, because there's been lack of news, actually gone out and I think one time Glenn, Sophie and Paul actually filmed themselves on a time lapse cleaning up the office, and that went out as a news feature. And I think actually we've been out and made a snowman outside, and that's
ideal. This is ideal for them.
So that's because it's chucking it with snow yet again as we speak.
But there are a few pieces in reserve anyway, like the geology, which shows I can say now, but there's a few pieces in reserve.
Yeah, there's a few pieces. We've got some shelf pieces going on. Anyway, if you'd like to watch any of this that we've been talking about, then you need to subscribe to FITV, and it's very, very easy. You just go to fitv.co.fk, you click on our channel, and a little box will come up, and it will give you the option of doing a monthly subscription, which is £6 a month, or a yearly subscription, which is £60 a month. And if you have any problems whatsoever, you just email stationmanager@fitv.co.fk, and I will personally reply to you and help you go through the whole process and make sure it all works. It's dead easy, and we very much appreciate every single subscriber to FITV. Don't forget, you can follow us on Twitter as well, which we haven't done a lot of tweeting recently, have we?
No.
Facebook is mostly where our stuff is. You'll see a lovely picture of Thomas and his brand new dartboard that he's very, very proud of. And if anybody's got any spare darts knocking around at home, please send them into Ollie so that he can actually play some darts.
Yeah, I mean,
otherwise you'll be sharpening your pencils.
I got halfway there. I've got a dartboard, but I just didn't have any darts, so that's a good start.
Yeah.
I need to put that up in the murder shed. But that should be pretty funny.
So the murder shed, you just threw away that remark.
Oh.
So the FITV house has got an external shed where the tumble dryer is.
Yes, and a freezer.
And a freezer.
And an old sound system.
Okay, and somebody has put on the light switch for it, murder shed, and that's what they call it. It's not.
It's not an actual. Oh yeah, no, it's not an actual. It's just the.
It's not your
informal
hobby.
name. No, it's the informal name, and I don't want to put any holes in the wall of the FITV house because that would be pretty bad. So. Why not do it in the
murder shed?
Yeah.
Instead. Okay, that brings us to the end of this podcast. I'm sorry we're a bit late with it this week, but a big hello to Ben. I hope you're still listening, Ben, Scott, and Emily. I know Scott takes his dog a walk and listens to podcasts as he's going along. So hello to you guys and anyone else who's listening. I think Graham listens actually regularly. Get in touch with us. We'll give you a shout out. Tell us about your connection with the Falklands, and we'll talk about it on our podcast. To anyone else, if you're listening to this in the future, we are available for a world tour, aren't we?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, very much available for a world tour of our podcast. Anyway, we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.